verdict in for the longest-serving Republican senator. Alaska's Ted Stevens hearing that verdict just moments ago. Shannon Bream in Washington with the very latest. Shannon, what can you tell us?
Hi, Neil. Well, what we know is this was a unanimous verdict on all 7 counts. And I can tell you that Senator Ted Stevens will face up to 5 years in prison for each of these counts. This deals with him lying on Senate disclosure forms about gifts. You remember hearing about modifications to his home, additions, all kinds of different things, vehicles, grills that came along that apparently he is accused and now convicted of lying about on his Senate forms. We understand that he will be sentenced January 26th. Obviously, that's well after the November 4th election. By law, his name has to stay on the ballot now in Alaska. The GOP cannot change or substitute his name in any way. So he will go forward as their representative for the election on November 4th. In recent polling, he was only down by a point or so to his challenger on the Democratic side. That can obviously change a great deal now that he's been convicted on all 7 counts that he was facing. We have not heard from him or his attorneys just yet. We could expect that they will file an appeal and he will move forward with campaigning just a few days out from the election. His name stays on that ballot, Neil, but today he is guilty on all 7 counts he was facing.
All right, Shannon, thank you very much. Reaction now from former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who joins me to sort of pick apart what this could mean. Again, as you know, Newt was in a dicey re-election campaign as it was. It was tracking fairly evenly, down a point or two, depending on the poll. But this is almost assuredly going to knock him out of the box, is it not?
Well, you'd think so. I think, and you remember that the people of Alaska were so upset by corruption and by ethics problems that they elected Governor Palin over the sitting Republican governor, who was a 22-year veteran of the Senate. That was just 2 years ago. I think this will be more of the same. I think that this means that the Stevens campaign is over. It's unfortunate that he can't resign and have somebody else get on the ballot, because clearly this gives away the seat for all practical purposes. You know, and it's tragic. I think that this is one more step to cleaning up the mess in Washington. And I think that we're going to see other things come down the road. You still have Democratic Congressman William Jefferson, for example, from New Orleans, who has $90,000 in his freezer that the government raided. But I think that in the case of Alaska, everything that got Governor Palin elected was a reform move against this kind of ethics. And I think that this ends Senator Stevens' career, and that I don't see any possibility of him winning the general election.
What is the national fallout for Republicans, though? That timing can't be good either.
Well, look, it's another body blow. I mean, you have John McCain running 22 or 23 points ahead of President Bush's approval rating, which is an extraordinary gap. This is one more thing where McCain as the reformer and Palin as the reformer have to be clear and vigorous and have to condemn this kind of behavior. You know, I think that it's embarrassing. But, you know, McCain is the one. McCain and Palin, in that sense, are the 2 Republicans with the clearest record as mavericks and as reformers, and it probably will hurt them less than it would any other possible nominee. But clearly it doesn't help them any.
Do you think that this wipes out this whole, you know, spread the wealth thing around that they appeared, that is, this ticket appeared to be getting some traction on from Barack Obama, or no?
Now, look, the difference is spread the wealth is about your wallet and my wallet and the wallet of every person who's watching tonight. It's about every family checkbook in the country. It's about every 401k. Spread the wealth is a phrase that when people hear this latest radio interview that came out from, I think, Chicago Public Radio, where Senator Obama was basically saying he really wished the Supreme Court had redistributed the wealth. And he's very clear.
This was from a 2001 interview, but go ahead.
So it's a 2001 interview in which you hear Senator Obama in his own voice, not just a casual comment to Joe the plumber, but clearly and consistently through an entire interview, being in favor of dramatic redistribution of the wealth and of putting together a coalition politically that would redistribute the wealth. And it explains his relation to Acorn and to the left and his whole campaign, if you look at it in the context of that interview. So I think the average American wants us to focus on economic growth, not on redistributing the wealth. And I think, frankly, the more the market reads and the more investors read Senator Obama's language, the less likely they are to invest, because they're going to be frightened that if you have Harry Reid in charge of the Senate, Nancy Pelosi in charge of the House, and Senator Obama in the White House, the pressure for higher taxes and for politicians deciding to redistribute what you earn is really going to, I think, be a formidable challenge to getting this economy growing again.
Indeed, that might be evidence in the markets right now. Newt, thank you very much. Newt Gingrich.
Thank you.
To that point,